my God, me. Then literally the next day I went to the pound. It's like hanging out with a dinosaur.
Meet Oscar the Chihuahua and Eddie the Desert Tortoise. And meet their mom, renowned Las Vegas DJ Tina T. Today on Industry Pets. Tina T, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for being here. We're here to talk about your two wonderful pets, Oscar the Chihuahua and Eddie the Desert Tortoise.
Yes, they're a unique pair.
Yes, indeed. Did Oscar get along with Eddie at first?
Yes. I don't think Oscar knew what Eddie was. I think he literally thought he was like a moving rock because the way he moved. So Oscar would follow Eddie around the yard just sniffing his butt, trying to figure out like, what is this, you know? And so he's really gentle with him. He usually just sniffs behind and follows him.
So when did you get Oscar? Tell me about how Oscar came into your life.
Well, let's see. Traveling and DJing, I never really felt like I could have a dog. You always listen to your parents. My dad's always like, you can't have a dog. Just from like when I was a kid, you can't have a dog. Then one day I was coming back from a gig in Mexico, ironically, and I get home and there's this stray Chihuahua. And I'm thinking, if it gets in my car, you know, I'll try. So it got in my car and I put up signs around the neighborhood. And then somebody called and they took the dog. And then literally the next day I went to the pound. And I told my dad, I'm like, I'm getting a dog. And I'm like, I really want a dog. He's like, Tina, go get a dog. So I was really excited, went to the pound. Oscar was one of the first dogs he was the first dog I saw. And we sat on a bench and he was so chill. And the look he had was just like, all right, we're good. You ready? Like, let's do this. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't need to see any other dogs. Like, literally the first dog I saw at the pound was, I was like, it's done. So that's how Oscar came about.
How long have you had Eddie?
So Eddie came about as kind of a manifestation. I really always wanted a desert tortoise. COVID hit. So I was gardening and at the store they had this huge kind of like life-size tortoise, like metal statue tortoise. And I'm like, done. So I put it in the middle of the yard. I'm like, well, that's as good as it's going to get for me and my desert tortoise dreams, right? So whatever. And I kept thinking, you know, I applied online. You can go online to a website it's a threatened species in Nevada. So they take it seriously. Everything's on hold because of COVID. We're not taking any more in. We're not adopting any out. Literally 3 days later, a good friend, another DJ, DJ Eddie, which is where Eddie got his name from. He posts on Facebook and says, is anybody looking for a desert tortoise? Hit me up. And I was like, me? Oh my God, me. And the deal was, you know, he was looking to rehome, so he brought him over. I watched some videos on how to build the burrow that he needs to live in, and you know, I set up his area to kind of like graze on different plants and things, and got it all ready, and he dropped him off, and that's when Oscar met him, and manifestation works.
That is an interesting animal to just kind of like have the feeling that you want one of those.
They're just like so peaceful and calming, and you know, I post a lot of stories of him eating and stuff, and literally it's the most popular thing that I post. People are like, why is this so like relaxing to watch a tortoise eat? It's like hanging out with a dinosaur.
Would a tortoise make a good teenage mutant ninja?
Like a teenage mutant ninja turtle?
Yes, would a tortoise make a good teenage mutant ninja?
No, because they're slow and calm and laid back. And turtles, see, here's the thing, people get turtles and tortoises mixed up. They're always like, oh, you have a turtle. I'm like, no, I don't have a turtle, I have a tortoise. Turtles are like swimming and diving in the water, and they're fast, and tortoises is just like a whole different vibe.
So what are some of the quirky things that Oscar, your dog, does?
I guess his quirky thing, he knows how to sit pretty. He likes to ride the Roomba around the house. I don't know if he necessarily likes it, but he does it for a treat.
Oh, that's awesome. What are the top 3 tricks that Oscar does?
Roll over, sit pretty, and down.
How long did it take you to learn how to take care of a tortoise?
I'm still learning a lot. It's interesting because he was raised in captivity and he ate vegetables and fruit and all these different things that they don't actually normally eat in the wild. And so I've kind of weaned him off of that diet. I like to create as much of an environment for him that is his natural environment. So he eats a lot of like Timothy hay, like what rabbits eat, and like different dried grass. And then I'll give him treats. I'll give him bok choy and kale, asparagus, just like a little bit once a week or so. But I try not to give him any more fruit because it's really just candy for a tortoise. It's just sugar. And so yeah, I'm trying to get him healthier, but he's getting big. I'm not sure. I think he might be around 25 years old, and they live over 100 years. So I actually have to designate someone beyond me for like to take care of him when I die.
Wow.
like a little kid.
If somebody's kid gets along with the tortoise when your friends come over, keep your eye on that kid and be like, he might be the one.
I'll be like, would you like to be his godfather?
What would you describe his personality?
Peaceful, mellow, zen. Yeah. He's actually really social. So anytime that there are dogs around, he will come out and come to the gate of his enclosure and like want to hang out. He loves eating out of people's hands.
So can a tortoise do tricks?
Not that I know of. For whatever reason, I really like to keep him more like in his natural habitat. Yeah. And so I don't treat him like a dog, like a pet, I don't know. It's just different. I'm constantly learning all these little things that could give them like digestion problems, because before they go into brumation, where they don't eat or drink for 6 months, it's kind of crucial, like what you're giving them, because things could actually, the reason why they stop eating like weeks before they go down is because things will like rot in their system.
Oh, gross.
So they stop eating and they kind of slow down. It's interesting to watch. It's called brumation because hibernation is for warm-blooded.
Like bears?
Yes. But any cold-blooded reptiles, they don't hibernate, they brumate. Or they go into brumation. And it's all based on weather. So it starts getting cold in Vegas around Thanksgiving. So he basically goes to sleep from Thanksgiving and then wakes up around Easter time.
Is there anything that you do to check on him while this is happening?
Honestly, I know all tortoise owners we all share the same anxiety. Every year you're waiting for them to wake up, hoping that they're healthy and they come out, because you worry that like what if they died in there and they just never come out? I don't know why. People have literally had their tortoise for 20, 30 years and you always kind of like worry.
Yeah.
There was a story about a tortoise that was found in an attic for a year. It went with no food, no water for a year and was still alive when they found him.
Whoa.
So their survival instincts and like strategies are far beyond like anything else. So
what are the top 3 tips for owning a tortoise to anyone out there thinking about it?
Go online and learn how to build a good burrow with lots of insulation. There's many different ways to build them. I redid my burrow at least 4 times and I'm planning to redo the whole enclosure again this summer. So that's like the thing you need to think through the most. And yeah, the placement in your yard. And then, like I said, planning for someone to care for them after you die, because they will outlive you. And then learning about the types of food to feed them and the types of food not to feed them.
And what are the top tips that you have for anyone that's thinking about owning a dog?
I would say go to the pound. I'm all about, obviously rescue. Oscar's like the best thing that ever happened to me. And he was like the first dog I saw at the pound. And so people think there's only like Chihuahuas and pit bulls at the pound, but they have everything. And all I tell people is like, I'm not going to judge anyone for getting a purebred or getting the specific dog they want. But all I want to say is like, just give it a shot. Just go there and just see if something happens.
How does owning pets affect your life or affect your mental health?
That's a good question. But Oscar, he's always, he's been with me through everything I've been through. There was one time I was on a call. I don't even remember. I was arguing with someone, and it got so escalated that I got off the call and just started bawling, right? He was on the end of the bed. He ran over, like jumped, ran, and put his like face like in my face, like pushed in. And that was like in the first few years I had him, but he really like sensed and came straight over and pushed his face into my face and like held it. You know, it was just sweet. And so I think it's great for everyone to have a pet, you know?
Now, would you say that, how does the tortoise affect your mental health? It sounds like there's a level of peace.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, I love just sitting with him and feeding him and watching him. There's something like, there's takeaways I kind of get. I'm just so envious. I look at him and it just relaxes me for whatever reason. And I think it relaxes other people too. People tell me all the time when they watch the videos I post, they're like, it's just like the highlight of my day watching. And I guess it's because we're in such a rush world. Hustle, grind, you know what I mean? That to sit and just watch something with no care in the world, just one step after the next, it kind of makes you reflect a little bit and think about like, can I just be in the, like, I'm just going to be in this moment. It's almost like meditative. I know that might sound crazy, but I think other tortoise owners would understand.
If your dog, Oscar, could turn human for a night to DJ, what kind of DJ set would he spin?
Okay, let me look at his demographic a little bit here. Oscar's an older male. He's kind of a grumpy old man at this point, so I would say he'd maybe play like some classic rock, some AC/DC, you know, like a throwback set. Basically.
Is he like all vinyl or?
Yeah, he'd do an all vinyl set, and he'd play like definitely majority like Latin too. He'd pay some tribute to his hometown.
Yeah, he is a Chihuahua.
He'd throw in some like Latin, and then he would mix it in with like classic rock, Latin, and some throwback hip hop.
If Eddie could turn into a human and DJ for the night, what kind of set would he play?
I see Eddie playing like a total burner reggae set.
Do you have any funny nicknames for Oscar?
One of my sister's friends' dogs had him. She calls him Oski. They all call him Oski. But I've never gave him a nickname. When I get home and he runs out to me, I'm like, hey, little man. That's it.
And what about Eddie? Does Eddie have any nicknames?
I had a friend stay at the house, and they had like a 7-year-old little boy that wanted to rename him. And they were like, yeah, he has a very specific name he thinks that tortoise should have. I'm like, what's that? He's like, Tyrone. And I'm like, and honestly, I really do kind of want to rename him Tyrone, because I just thought it was the cutest, most random thing I had ever heard. And like, I just think it's a really cool name for the tortoise. I named Eddie after my DJ friend Eddie, who gave him to me. But now it's always like, with all people that know Eddie, I have to say like Eddie the tortoise, right? I can never just say Eddie, because then they think I'm talking about Eddie. So Tyrone would alleviate all the confusion. But then people are going to be like, who's Tyrone? Like, should I be worried? Like, yeah, he's at the house right now. Waiting to meet you. We should definitely put a poll up.
All right. Tell everybody where they can find you.
So I'm really easy to find online. It's just DJ Tina T on everything. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all of it, DJ Tina T. And I haven't created any custom pages for my pets, but I do post about them on my profile.
Thanks, Tina. Good to see you.
Thank you. You too. Bye.